What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you the best of the Steam Isometric Sale. If you're unaware, now through December 12th, so next week, there are a ton of great deals on a lot of isometric games, which this channel covers pretty frequently. It's most of what I cover, actually. Isometric CRPGs. So I thought I would highlight some great games that are involved in this sale, and more than that, I thought I'd also give some of them away, as I have multiple keys for a lot of these games to distribute, and for disclosure's sake, I will explain how I got them in just a second, but every couple of hours I'm going to be making a comment down below with some of the keys to distribute them pretty freely. They are, of course, Steam keys, and in addition to the comments below, I'll likely throw some of them in a community post or a members-only community post as well. But as it stands, I have keys for the Ascent 7 Enhanced Edition, Solasta, Crown of the Magister, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Baldur's Gate 2, Neverwinter Nights, Planescape Torment, Icewind Dale, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, Tower of Time, and Children of Morta. So again, every few hours I'm going to be dropping a few of these codes down in comments below, probably 1 to 2 of each game that I have, just to make this go pretty quickly, mostly because there's a lot of laws around doing giveaways on YouTube that make it a nightmare, so it's easier for me to just throw the keys out there. But where did I get said keys? For the sake of disclosure, I got them from my contact at Owlcat Games, as their publisher, Meta Publishing, is the one hosting the sale. They're the organizer, so it's my understanding that Owlcat got them from their publisher, which handed them off to me, so I could give them all to you. But with all of that said, let's actually highlight some of these games. But also keep in mind that you should check out the Steam page for yourself, which I will have linked below, as there is a lot more than just what we're showing here, but I'm showing off some of my favorites, starting with the obvious one, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, a massive game that I have hundreds upon hundreds of hours in, something like 700-800 total. So unsurprisingly, I think it's the best one of the lot. You fight off a demon invasion of Canabris, which reignites the 5th Crusade of Galerion, where you try to close the world wound to stop the demon invasions for good. And along the way, you rise to mythic power, which can take one of a variety of forms, which leads to an immense amount of build diversity and quite a bit of replay value, all using an adaptation of Pathfinder 1E's tabletop rule set. And while I think Wrath of the Righteous is definitely one of the best modern-day CRPGs, we also have a ton of the classics, such as the Infinity Engine, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, if you want to check that out ahead of Baldur's Gate 3's release, which is likely to get a release date announcement soon. They've been teasing a ton of news, but Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are considered some of the greats of the genre, and while they are very clunky to play, I actually made a handy guide to help people out with exactly that, which you can check out on the channel as well. But those two are definitely worth your time. Then there's Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, another one of my favorites from the modern era of CRPGs. While it's certainly not without its faults, we continue the story of Pillars of Eternity 1, picking up the adventures of the Watcher as we attempt to save the Deadfire archipelago from itself and the gods. Using its own unique role-playing system, refined from the first game, it's got a lot going on, it's fun to play, there's tons of options, tons of consequences. The main story is probably the weakest part of it. It ends pretty abruptly as well, but there's so much great stuff to do in that game that I think it easily makes up for it. But assuming none of those are your cup of tea, you might try something a little more rules as written, such as Solasta, Crown of the Magister. And while Solasta does include a lot of homebrew content for D&D 5e, the core rules of D&D 5e are implemented here in a video game as closely as they could. They are using the SRD rule set, so if you're looking for a gameplay experience where it's more like actually working your way through a proper D&D module, Solasta is a great way to go. And while it's not exactly the most graphically impressive game, mechanically speaking, it's incredibly solid. And while those are certainly some of my favorites and the ones I have keys to give away for, you can also find all sorts of other isometric games. There are shooters available, the recent From Space, which is a squad shooter. And while you're at it, you can even check out some upcoming isometric games, which, while not actually releasing yet or available for purchase, will give you an idea of some of the things coming up, such as Dark Envoy, which is one I'm personally excited for, which recently got a bunch of new gameplay news, a gameplay trailer, a lot of updates on its development, and it should be releasing next year actually. But more than anything, the Isometric Sale is a celebration of a genre that I am very near and dear to, which is isometric CRPGs. But even if you're not into CRPGs, there's a lot of other stuff here as well. Shooters, more niche games like Train Valley, Parkitect. So needless to say, I think you should check it out. But I also have those free keys to give away, which I'll be doing throughout the course of the day, so if you don't see any released right away, just wait a little bit. These videos do usually go live a little bit before I wake up, so it might take a while for them to pop up, but throughout the day I'll be giving them away. Beyond that though, there's also a ton of fantastic deals on all these games, as you might imagine. The vast majority of them are somewhere between 20 to 60% off, including a lot of their DLC as well, so there's plenty of opportunities to explore and find a good deal on something even if you don't get a free key. But that's enough out of me. I certainly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.